Washington, D.C. The name often creates images of politics and power. The capital of the nation, the center of world democracy. It's the seat of federal government and the site of many of America's most recognized landmarks. Yet, beyond the monuments and the nation's capital, there's another side of Washington that is an exciting, diverse, and fun city that is full of entertainment and culture.
Of our nation, it is home for you and me, for people seeking happiness with a dream of liberty. There are monuments and presidents, but most important of all, in God we trust, our faith is standing tall. Oh yes, Washington, you find it all in Washington, D.C. Oh, Washington, alive with history. History, Washington, God bless the town of Washington, D.C. Yes, Washington, it is the place to be.
Most people think of Washington as the Washington Monument or the White House. That is a very small part of Washington. What makes people want to live here is the neighborhood life, the vibrancy of its communities, its wonderful metro system, its compact nature, its friendliness, and its overall beauty.
It's important for us all to come together to promote Washington, America's first city, nation's capital, international capital of the world. Even though we have a good product, you have to market it. Let people know the good things that are happening here, the goodness of our people. The other side of Washington, where there's a diversity of food, diversity of people, and diversity of neighborhoods. It's a great place to come and visit, a great place to live, a great place to bring your family, and also a great place to relocate if you're thinking about moving from where you are now, either businesses or individual. Washington is just great, and with all of us working together, we're going to make it even greater.
The largest corporation in the Washington, D.C. area, and one of the largest in the world, is Mobil Corporation, which has its world headquarters in this area. When Mobil moved its headquarters from New York 7 years ago, it was looking for an area that offered a close proximity to the government and diplomatic communities. As an active supporter of the district, Mobil sponsors many cultural, social, and educational activities here. In sum, Mobil is a dynamic corporate leader that's proud to be part of the revitalization of the greater Washington metropolitan area.
The Chamber's mission is to promote business interests to Washington, and in addition, we are going to take a very strong role in working with our large and small minority businesses here in the city and throughout the region.
As we approach the 21st century, new technologies will be the core industry in the Washington, D.C. area. In the 90s, this area became one of the most attractive regions in the country for high technology firms. The East Coast Bridge to the Information Superhighway crosses the Potomac and converges at Bell Atlantic.
It's extremely important that D.C. the D.C. economy include high technology companies, because the new generation of technology services that we're seeing today, internet, all of the various high-speed, high-capacity data services, etc., form the backbone for a strong economy. And one of the major factors that is included in a business's decision to locate to a particular area is what kind of communications, technology infrastructure is in place in that particular city. And in that regard, Washington stands in very good stead, because the Washington communications network is a very sophisticated one and is probably the most complex and sophisticated network anywhere in the country.
Another technology-based company in Washington, D.C. is Tradewinds International. A diverse and expanding enterprise based at National Airport, Tradewinds has a unique perspective and optimistic outlook on Washington.
It is all about information. Who has it, who's packaging it, who has access to it. Again, Washington, D.C., not only being the capital of the free world, is the capital of the information world. And it is fundamentally important that if you're going to do business in the 21st century in the information technology area, you're going to have some presence in Washington.
A new entrant in the Washington-based high-tech family is Worldwide Technologies. This Midwest-based $100 million enterprise recently opened offices in the area to service its government and private industry clients along the East Coast. New telecommunications technologies provide Washington-based companies with the ability to transmit information and conduct business throughout the globe. WorldSpace, a digital satellite company, promises to change the way the world transmits and receives radio signals by broadcasting directly to a new CD quality receiver.
The essential vision behind the company is to link literally 4+ billion people around the world with an information, education, and entertainment delivery infrastructure.
WorldSpace is a fast-growing company based in D.C. with its headquarters at DuPont Circle. It will have 3 specially designed satellites in space by 1998. AsiaStar will provide CD-quality programming to billions of people in Asia, from China to Japan. AfriStar will provide a similar service for the Middle East and Africa. CaribStar will cover Latin America and the Caribbean. Former Ambassador Paul Taylor lived in Washington for many years and is currently in charge of WorldSpace's coverage for South America.
WorldSpace, by being able to broadcast directly from a satellite in space to radio receivers, even in isolated areas, is able to bring information that will help citizens be well informed and will help markets work well, and will also provide the intellectual infrastructure that will permit the progress of all of the people in a country or in a region.
Another example of Washington's ability to thrust its local-based businesses into the international marketplace is Dynamic Concepts. From Russia to Japan, Dynamic Concepts has developed strategic business alliances utilizing new technologies.
I think there will always be a balance, which makes Washington, D.C. so unique, the balance between the politics and corporate life. Politics are certainly where the decisions are being made that affects not only Washington, D.C., but the world, and corporations are now seeing Washington as an international city, a financial center, as a place to put their headquarters, and I think that's going to be even more so in the coming future.
There's a rainbow of cultures, it's a way to many lands. People living here together, reaching out and joining hands. Come sing a song and celebrate in glory to the past. With honor and tradition, a spirit that will last. It will last. I'm talking about Washington. Gonna find it all in Washington, D.C. Oh, Washington, alive with history. Yeah, now Washington, God bless the town of Washington, D.C. Yes, Washington, it is the place to be.
The Washington Convention Center is a magnet for business activity in downtown Washington. Conventions and trade shows generate millions of dollars in revenue for surrounding hotels, restaurants, and other businesses, thus serving as the foundation for growth to the entire city.
The Washington Convention Center contributes a very vital role to the economic stability of Washington, D.C., the nation's first city and indeed the world's first city. The Convention Center, as you know, is established to bring conventioners from all over the world to Washington, D.C. History tells us that conventioners spend from $1,100 to $1,400 per stay. When they stay, they pay hotel tax, they pay restaurant tax, they pay tax for goods and services in our commercial establishments around the city. And we've been able to contribute across the years $400 to $500 million a year into the general fund from those conventioners staying and buying our goods and services. We expect to continue that, and in fact, in the near future, we expect to increase that substantially. We're excited in Washington, D.C. We are in the midst of planning a new convention center. Our preferred site is what we call Mount Vernon Square, which is about 2 blocks from where we currently exist. We are building a facility that will have a minimum of 750,000 square feet of exhibit space. We'll have probably the largest ballroom of any convention center in America because this is the first city, and we're going to project a facility that projects the first city. It will be exciting and dynamic, and we expect to have a tremendous New Year's Eve party going into the year 2000.
Washington is fortunate to have a strong financial base of banks and investment companies that provide the necessary resources to sustain economic development throughout the region. One such institution with a long history in the District of Columbia is the Industrial Bank of Washington.
Since 1934, when my grandfather founded the bank, Industrial Bank's role has been to provide high-quality financial services to the Washington community. We think it's important now to support the revitalization of Washington, D.C., because we're optimistic about the future of the city. In fact, our strategic plan calls for further expansion right in the city and in the region as well.
I'm very proud to be one of the first to really put his money where his mouth is and really do it and say, hey, this is the nation's capital, it's the most important city in the world, and I want to be part of it. And again, I want to reiterate that the mayor and I shook hands 2 winters ago. We shook hands, and I said, Mayor, I need your help, cut that bureaucracy, and if you do that, we're going to get this building built. And he has kept his word to this day because he's a man of his word. Thank you very much.
Washington, D.C. is the home to many special and attractive restaurants. Sequoia is on the scenic Georgetown waterfront. Several fine restaurants sit at the historic Union Station near the U.S. Capitol, including America, Center Cafe, and the nationally known B. Smith's, which features elegant dining and many gala social events. Fine dining is not the only food alternative in Washington. For a quick and tasty meal on the run, a local favorite is Ben's Chili Bowl on the U Street corridor. This popular eatery is known as the place to go to satisfy a hungry appetite day or night.
We've been here since 1958, and we make great sandwiches, great food since that time. We provide a lot of the culture and the history of Washington. We are old Washington, so we mix in with the new. Washington is of course, a fantastic city. When you add to that the National Zoo and the museums and the Kennedy Center and all the other things Washington has to offer, it's a great city.
Another popular fast food choice in Washington is Subway. the #1 fast food franchisor in the nation. The many Subway franchises in the area not only offer good food, but opportunities to own your own business.
The best part about being a franchisee with Subway in Washington is the cultural diversity of the people that we get in our business and the people that we come in contact with on a day-to-day basis.
Hi, I'm Christina Baxter, Vice President of Marketing for Set and Place Gourmet. Welcome and join us on a culinary tour.
Our business started in 1980 on New Mexico Avenue, right in the District of Columbia, right in the heart of all of the embassies from all around the world. Our workforce is incredibly diverse because it comes from one of the most diverse cities in the world, Washington, D.C. Our employees come from many different cultures, many different countries, and bring that incredible knowledge of food from their various cultures to our store. At Sutton Place, we think food is fun. We think food is fashionable. We think food is a vicarious trip to a fabulous destination.
D.C. is full of historic sites and cultural museums. The Smithsonian, Anacostia Museum, the Frederick Douglass House, and many religious sites full of history and tradition. Our local Humanities Council invites you to explore Washington's many historical sites and places of interest off the mall and its diverse neighborhoods. Among those sites is the first synagogue built in the nation's capital in 1876. This landmark religious structure is open to visitors and houses the Jewish Historical Society and the Small Jewish Museum. The historic Hurech Mansion is home to the Historical Society of Washington, D.C., a museum and library of local history. You will find it all in Washington, D.C.
As the harbinger of justice is the vision of in a capital of freedom, international in scope. There's a city in America with as much diversity. The District of Columbia is beautiful to see. I'm talking about Washington. You'll find it all in Washington, D.C. Oh, Washington, alive with his story. Talking about it, Washington. God bless the town of Washington, D.C. Yes, Washington, it is a place to be. Oh, Washington, you're gonna find it all in Washington, D.C. Hey, Washington, alive with history.
The future for Washington is bright. I'm excited about the year 2000, where we're going to have a downtown, we're going to have neighborhoods, where we're going to have a vibrant city. We're going to have a good school system. We're going to have a reduction in crime. We're going to have people working together. And we're going to have businesses coming into Washington. We're going to have people moving back into Washington. And those who want to leave will say, wait a minute, Washington is a good place to live. I'm going to stay right here. And so I'm excited about all of that.
It is imperative that our national leadership recognize the federal responsibility for helping our city grow, and we think that that recognition is there, and we think in the next few years we'll see some major effort on the part of the federal government and national corporations to help the city.
The district has a long agenda, and I think within the next couple of years we can begin finally to meet important elements of that agenda.
Our vision ought to be the finest capital city in the world, and that ought to be our vision. And we should take on as a capital as a Congress, our responsibilities to the District of Columbia, and we should do it proudly, and we should not be ashamed to go back home and say, you're darn right we're helping our national capital, because we want you to visit it with pride, and we want you to know that you can say to anyone anywhere in the world, come to America and visit Washington. It is a great city.
I believe that every American has a stake in seeing the District of Columbia succeed.
Together, we must pledge tonight that we will use this empowerment approach, including private sector tax incentives, to renew our capital city so that Washington is a great place to work and live. And once again, the proud face America shows the world.
Join the national push to revitalize D.C. It's a bipartisan movement to improve one of the great cities in the world. Everyone in Washington is joining together to restore the rich tradition of quality services and dynamic lifestyles. Come, see, and share the other side of Washington.